What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be making a tier list of the augments currently in the game in Chapter 4, Season 4. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and let me know what your favorite and least favorite augments are so far this season. You guys seem to like this type of video when I made it in the past, and I tried to wait a little bit longer into the season. That way we got an update or two, because each update adds new augments. Also, when it comes to augments that affect certain types of weapons, I'm just going to assume that you're using that type of weapon, because obviously if we have an augment that affects snipers and you don't use snipers, it's not going to be very valuable to you. So I'm going to assume you're using that weapon type, or that you enjoy using that weapon type. The first we're going to talk about is going to be light fingers, and this makes it to where weapons that use light ammo reload faster. And I think this is going to be B tier. It's a solid augment if you're using something that's using light ammo. Again, reloading faster is, certainly a nice little benefit to have. It's not, definitely game changing, and it's not something that I would reroll much for, but it's something that's nice to have. The next augment is going to be Sniper Striker. This is going to be B tier. This is the augment that makes it to where you get Siphon when you hit somebody with a sniper. And from what I've been told, it's 15 health for body shots and then 30 for headshots. So you get a little bit of HP back when you snipe people. Not the biggest deal, just because it is such a low amount of health, but it is certainly nice to have. Again, if you're someone who likes sniping, I would definitely take this, but I don't think I would consistently re-roll trying to get this. The next augment is going to be Steady Hands. I'm going to put this in B tier. This is the augment that reduces your recoil for marksman rifles. So currently this is going to affect the thermal DMR, but I think we will have a new DMR coming over the course of this season that will replace the thermal. Reducing recoil is just always going to be nice. It makes the weapon easier to use. If you like using the DMR, I would take this augment. Not sure I would re-roll to get it. Maybe it's that big of a deal if you're someone who loves the DMR, but I don't really use the DMR, so it's kind of tough for me to talk about this one. The next is going to be SMG Sign Off. This makes it to where I think the final 4 bullets of your SMG's magazine do bonus damage. I'm going to put this at B tier again. Kind of the way I look at B tier is going to be augments that are nice to have, but I'm not going to re-roll to get them, and that's kind of how I feel about SMG Sign Off. If I already have the other augments that I really want in the game, and I just don't feel like re-rolling gold to get something I want a little bit more than this, sure, I'm down to take this. It's not going to hurt, but it's also something that I don't really think that highly of, and it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to make happen. I'm not going to walk around with my SMG mag super low hoping I get to take advantage of this. I'm sure there'll be times, where you're getting down to the final few bullets of your SMG's mag, and then those bullets hitting with that bonus damage make the difference, but I don't really care for this augment too much. First Assault is going to be the next augment, and I'm actually going to put this at A tier. This has a similar kind of effect where it's bonus damage, but instead of happening at the back end of your magazine, it's at the first few shots of your magazine. And that's really nice, because most of the time you're going to be using your AR in Fortnite, it's going to be to get opening tags. So this is an augment that I, pretty much always take, unless it's my final augment and there's something else I really want. But I think this has just been a solid augment for pretty much all of Chapter 4, because it's just bonus damage, which is nice, and it also just pairs well with typically how you're going to be using your AR, which is going to be, those opening tags. And when you compare it to SMG Sign Off, it's much easier to make this augment happen, because you just need a fully loaded mag, right? Whereas with SMG Sign Off, you need the mag to basically be empty, and then you need to hit those shots for it to matter. I'd feel like First Assault is very good, and I'm happy to take it. Another first is going to be First Shotgun, and I'm going to put this augment at S tier. This is going to be 25% bonus damage out of the first shot from your shotgun. Again, it's very easy to make this happen, because you could just keep your shotgun reloaded. There is some kind of confusion with this augment, though, because it doesn't increase your maximum damage. And what I've seen players interpret this as is it does nothing to headshots. That's not the case. It's just that each shotgun has a damage cap that it can't exceed. So if you were to hit a shot that was already going to hit that damage cap, you're not going to benefit from this augment. But if you weren't hitting a shot that was going to reach the damage cap, you'll benefit from this. Let's just say, for example, you were going to get hit for 100 with your shotgun. You would hit for 125 with this augment, because I don't think any of the shotguns have a damage cap as low as 100, but you would get, that 25 bonus damage, and it's always good. I feel like shotguns in Fortnite are inconsistent weapons, so anything you can do to potentially get more damage out of your shotgun is nice. And there are also some, niche cases with this, it pairs very well with the charged shotgun, because you can I think you can hit 200 without fully charged headshot, perfect shot, and then you could hit close to 200 on a fully charged body shot with first shotgun. It's a very good augment, and it's something that I'm pretty much always happy to take whenever I get it. It's not often something I'm going to reroll for, though. For maybe if I had the charge or the breacher shotgun in the past, I would maybe reroll to go out of my way to get it. But it's, again, something that I'm always going to be happy to take because shotguns are pretty much always the most important weapons in Fortnite. So bonus damage that's somewhat easy to make happen just by having your shotgun fully loaded, I think is very, very nice. The next augment is going to be pistol salvo, and I'm not really sure where I want to rank this one. I haven't gotten that much time to like try it. I don't think I've tried it at all, but it is something that I'm interested in trying and maybe making a video talking about, like this paired with the shadow tracker pistol. From what I've been told, you'll headshot for like 57 with the shadow tracker with this, which is solid. I'm going to just put it in B tier because I'm not sure and I want to try it more. The next augment is going to be scoped salvo. I'm going to put this in A tier. I think this is a very good augment, but I personally don't use it a lot. This reduces some of your fire rate on scoped weapons and then increases your damage. And it's 15% less fire rate, 15% more damage. And this does slightly decrease your DPS, but if you're someone that has a hard time using like the twin mag AR, this is a really good augment for you. But it also really helps the twin mag AR's headshot damage. I think the gold version of the twin mag AR with this augment goes up to 70 headshot damage, which is really nice in fights where you're kind of playing around cover. Being able to tag one headshot and hit for 70 is a big deal, and that happens a lot this season whenever someone's playing around bunkers or playing around the ice wall or just any sort of hill. So while I personally like the twin mag AR without this augment, I feel like with the game kind of going more towards, you know, you having an ice wall and the opponent potentially having an ice wall and then y'all exchanging shots, I could see a world where this augment goes up in priority just because you often have very little of your opponent to hit. And if you are able to hit their head there, it's going to be game-changing shots. The next augment is going to be Sniper Surplus. This gives you one extra shot on your snipers, so the suppressed bolt action sniper will go from 1 bullet to 2. I'm going to put this at S tier. Again, like I talked about at the start of the video, if you don't use snipers, this isn't going to matter to you, and you're probably not going to like worry about taking it. But if you are someone who snipes, and you snipe a lot, and you like playing around the sniper, having an extra bullet in the mag is huge for, you know, instances where you miss a shot. If you hit a body shot, you know, you could double body them potentially, or, you know, body into headshot. Just gives you an extra chance, which is very nice, and it's something that a lot of players aren't that used to playing against, myself included. A lot of times I'll notice somebody playing off a sniper, and then I'll kind of like, you know, jiggle peek an angle, like kind of peek for a second and then go back into cover right away, trying to bait out their shot because I'm so used to people having one shot in the bolt. But when you go up against somebody that has this augment, they have 2, and you don't necessarily know that they have 2, but the person using it knows they have 2, so they kind of have like an information advantage there. It's a very good augment for snipers, and if you are someone who likes sniping, I would definitely recommend taking this. The next augment is going to be Reckless SMG Reload. This is going to be B tier. It increases your magazine, or increases your reload speed when your magazine is empty. Again, not the biggest benefit in the world, but it doesn't hurt. If I'm using an SMG, it's something I would be fine taking. I would rather have light fingers over this though, but you know, in situations where the mag is empty and you want to reload, sure. Again, if I already have the augments that I actually want, and then this comes up and I'm using an SMG, I don't mind taking it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get it. The next augment is going to be Rarity Check, and this gives you Siphon on eliminations with white or green weapons, and the amount of health it gives you has changed throughout the course of Chapter 4. They've kind of buffed this. It now gives 100 health or shield when you eliminate something, and it can give both health or shield. You know, if you're at 50 white health, no shield, and you get an elimination, you'll be at full health, 50 shield, and it works on animals as well, but to like a lesser degree. If you kill the dinos, you'll get a little bit of shield back. You don't get as much as you would on full elims. But I think this is a good augment. It's just inconvenient to play around. If you know, want to use a white or green weapon to potentially get Siphon off of it, it can be very nice. But it's just like oftentimes players would rather just have the higher rarity weapons. If you do want to run this augment and get the most out of it, I would recommend using a white AR and maybe a white or a green twin mag AR and like a green combat SMG, and then still use like a high rarity pump. I feel like that could be ideal, and especially if you're going to be doing like pump SMG, then hopefully you hit you know, a good shot with your pump, and then you could just quickly finish them off with the SMG and get that Siphon. I feel like it does pair really well with the SMG in situations like that. SMG rarity isn't the biggest deal, and I feel like the same thing goes with the twin mag AR. any rarity I get of the Twin Mag AR, the thing shreds. Obviously, the better rarity, the better. But if you wanted to make rarity check work, I think that could be a good avenue to do so. The next augment is going to be Mud Warrior. This will heal you when you're covered in mud up to 150, so you can only get 50 shield off of it. Not the biggest deal. I've never been too fond of this augment, especially when you consider that the only area you can get the mud in now is the jungle. There's not the bush augment that gives you mud. And also there's like the shield flowers in the jungle as well, which you can hit for 25. So this is another augment that, you know, it's a nice benefit to have. There might be times where it helps you, but I'm not going to go out of my way re-rolling to get this augment. It's usually just something I would take if I already had the other augments that I would actually really want, which we're going to get to here soon. The next augment is going to be Supercharged. This makes it to where your vehicles have max fuel, and I think they have increased HP as well. This is an augment that I don't really care that much about. I'm just going to put it C tier. It doesn't hurt by any means, but I don't think it's exceptionally good either. And I use vehicles a decent amount, but I just very rarely run out of fuel in the vehicles. And then the added HP can be nice, but like the situations where your car's health is going to be most problematic, I feel like, is if you're playing against someone using the sticky launcher, and even if you have supercharged, your car is going to go down fast. Or if you're playing squads and you have a whole team shooting at you, and then I feel like the same thing is still true, where your car is going to go down fast and you're probably going to be getting beamed. So I just don't really rate this augment very high, and I pretty much never take it unless I just really don't feel like spending gold. The next augment is going to be On The Go bag. I'm going to put this at S tier. I think this is one of the best augments in the game, and when I've been talking about things to reroll for, this was like kind of the main thing I was talking about. This makes it to where you can get a mobility item from opening any container in the game. And the mobility items you can get are Shockwaves, Crash Pad Juniors, and Slap Splashes. So Shockwaves, obviously, if you watch any of my videos, you know I think they're essential for zero build, and they're very, very important. So being able to get Shockwaves anywhere and stay topped off on Shockwaves is very nice, but also the ability to just get Slap Splashes at will can be very nice because, you know, you don't have to waste slurps, where if you do need heals, you can use this. And in team game modes, having somebody that can just go around and open something and create value for the team, like on the, you know, the ammo boxes or the food baskets or whatever, just extra value is nice, and I think On The Go bag is really good. The next augment we're going to talk about is going to be Sprint Lines. This makes it to where you get the slap effect after using a zip line. I'm going to put this at C tier, maybe B tier. It's not good. I mean, it's not bad. It doesn't hurt you by any means. I mean, maybe you could argue you get the slap effect and then it'll expire later and someone will hear that. It's just fine, you know. If you use a zip line, you get unlimited sprint for a period of time afterwards. Cool. I don't think it's that game changing, but again, it's not something I'm gonna reroll to get, but it's something I'll take if I don't feel like rerolling or if I already have the augments I want. The next augment is going to be Roaming Redeploy. This gives you the ability to redeploy your glider if you're in a situation where you already are avoiding fall damage. So if you shockwave, you can redeploy your glider. If you hit a zipline, you can redeploy your glider. Things like that. Anything that would negate you from fall damage already, you can deploy your glider. But the main time a lot of people want to deploy their glider is to avoid fall damage completely. So I personally would put this in A tier. It's not my favorite augment. I know a lot of people really, really like redeploy. I think especially players who aren't as good at getting where they want with shockwaves really like the ability to redeploy and kind of, you know, fine tune where they're going. I rarely take this. I would rather just not have it. I've never been the biggest fan of redeploy in Fortnite. Even in early chapter 4 when they just had a redeploy augment, a lot of people really liked that one. I personally don't, but it can be a very good augment when used properly. The next augment is going to be Storm Chaser. This gives you bonus stamina, and then also gives you even more bonus stamina if you're in the storm. I'm going to put this at A tier, and it was previously working to where if you slid after sprinting, your sprint would regenerate while you were sliding, and you could basically chain that constantly to be unlimited sprint. It seems like they fixed that. I was using it today, and my sprint wasn't starting to regen until I had already been sliding for a long time, and it wasn't working like that when it first came out. So I think they nerfed that aspect of it, but it's still a fine augment. I am very rarely ever in a situation where I'm like in storm this season, especially with the radio towers in the game and just being able to see where zone is going to be. But just added sprint is always going to be nice. I'm going to put this in A tier. I think it's pretty good. Like some previous augments I talked about, I'm not going to go out of my way to get this, but if I don't feel like spending gold or I already have the things I want, then sure, we'll take this. Keymaster is going to be the next augment we talk about. I'm going to put this at A tier. This is kind of one that could be very variable, because if you already have 3 keys, why would you need this? But if you don't have any keys, the hollow boxes or the hollow chests can be very nice source of like just very good loot. especially if you're able to find something like the exotic Maven in there. But even if you just find, you know, gold pump, gold AR, then that's, you know, solid loot for you out of the holo chest. If you are someone who's been ignoring the holo chest, I would highly recommend checking them out. When you have keys, they'll show on your minimap, and it's pretty much always going to be a source of solid loot from a universal loot item like keys. And then if you get this augment at some point, you're just kind of probably be flush for keys for the rest of the game. And it could even get you an exotic Maven, which is probably the best shotgun in the game right now for zero builds. The next augment is going to be Fast Fisher. This increases your swim speed, but also makes it to where if you swim over a fishing spot, it'll just automatically fish it for you. I'm going to put this at B tier, I think. It's fine. Again, it doesn't hurt. I'm not going to reroll to get it, but I'll take it if I already have the things I want. The fishing spots can be good heals. You know, if you swim over a fishing spot and get a shield fish, that's one of the best healing items in the game. Slurp juice is obviously better, but it's just a convenient augment to have. And honestly, even last season we had an augment that made it to where you swam faster, and I would just take that sometimes because I hate being in the water so much. If I'm in the water, I want to get out of it, so that fast swimming is kind of nice. Same story as a lot of other ones, though. I'm not going to reroll to get it, but if it comes up when I already have what I want, then sure. Ammo drop is going to give you some ammo, but also make it to where enemies you eliminate drop more ammo. I'm going to put this at C tier. Ammo is rarely a problem that I have. I think that's something that people deal with more in squads, but especially deal with more in squads if they don't get a lot of kills. I tend to play pretty aggressive, so after like a zone or two, ammo is just not really a concern. I could see this being very, very good and competitive, but for pubs, it's just not something I want to use. And then the same is true of medium ammo acquired, which is going to be the next augment. I'm going to put this in C tier. It gives you medium ammo, and then I think you have a chance to find more medium ammo, or enemies you eliminate drop more medium ammo. And competitive, this could be very good, but for public matches and how I want to play, just really not that worthwhile, so I'm going to put it at C tier. Pretty much the only time I take this is if I'm like really down bad for ammo for some reason, or I just don't feel like spending money or spending gold to reroll augments. The next augment we're going to talk about is going to be High Voltage. I would put this at like A or S tier. This gives you EMP grenades and a business turret, and then each elimination you get gives you EMP grenades. And EMP grenades can be insane in zero build because they do 70 shield damage. And so throwing 2 at an opponent will do 140 shield damage, which is pretty much all of their shield. And so if you get 2 for every kill and it takes 2 to remove someone's shield, then you could just use this to just, you know, fry shields 24/7 and play every fight off the Shockwave EMP combo, especially if you have on the go bag or the Shockwave launcher. So I think this is very good. I haven't been using the EMPs as much since the Ice Wall came out, but I think that playstyle can still be very valid and very good if you want to continue to go for that. And this augment just makes it even better. The next augment we're going to talk about is going to be Explosive Surplus. This makes it to where every container you open has a chance, or not, sorry, has a chance. Every container you open gives you rockets guaranteed. So chests, ammo boxes, coolers, the fishing baskets, the vegetable baskets, anything you open will give you rockets. And this is ridiculous because rocket weapons typically have always been kind of overpowered, but the balancing act is that rockets are an inconvenient ammo source. But with this augment, you just have rockets for days. Very good when combined with the Shockwave launcher. You basically have unlimited mobility. And in squads, if you have this and the Shockwave launcher, and then one of your teammates has like on the go bag, then, you know, y'all are just set for mobility for the whole game because that you have your rockets, they can carry reserve rockets for you, and then they should be flush for shockwaves. I just think this thing is insane. The Shockwave launcher is very good. And then obviously the sticky launcher is as well. And the final augment we're going to talk about is going to be Game Time. This gives you a pizza party and Chug Splash. I don't even know if this is in the game. I think you have to do a challenge to unlock it. But even then, I haven't seen a single player with Chug Splash since this week's update. So I really don't know if this is in the game or if it gives Slap Splash and the description is wrong. But I would put this at like A tier. It's very good. You know, I think the Slurp Juice is the best healing item in the game right now. But if you're in a situation where, you know, you don't have shield for whatever reason, and then you're able to pop this, like you ran out of heals completely, that can just completely save your game because pizza is a good healing item. So I'm going to put it at A tier. Like I said, I don't know if it's in the game, but I typically carry Slurp Juice. I think it's the best heals. I think pizza is up there though. So if you're able to get this augment in a situation where you don't have heals, that could really, really save your game. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys found this helpful, informative, interesting. As always, if you did, give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and let me know down in the comments what your favorite augment is this season, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.